Hi, my name's Neil Hilborn, and you're listening to Kat on Voice FM. Hello, this is Neil.
Hi Neil, this is Kat. How are you?
Hey Kat, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Of course, I've been listening to your poetry and about to speak to you. The first thing that hits me is you're so comfortable sharing who you are on stage, but what about when it comes to interviews?
I'm getting more comfortable with it. I've done a few interviews here and there, but I think I've been doing a lot more interviews in the past year or so. And I think that looking back at a lot of my old interviews, I had sort of canned responses, kind of like I'm saying pretty much the same thing, but now I feel more comfortable just saying what I'm actually thinking and not just this is what I normally say to questions like this one,
Yeah.
So pretty good is the answer to your question.
Awesome, because actually I was looking at some of your older poetry too on the videos and that, and it seems to me that you were a little bit more rehearsed in what you did in the past, whereas now you just seem so comfortable just saying what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a very astute observation. I think for a really long time, especially when I started writing and really performing, I was not at all comfortable talking about anything personal or what was really going on in my head. And I think that after I gained some experience being on stage, I realized audiences actually just want to hear the truth and want to hear what I'm really getting into right now. So yeah, I think I'm probably more comfortable being honest and open now than I ever have been. Which maybe that's not huge, or that's not a crazy thing for a performer to say, but it seems strange to me that I've made the transition that way.
Yeah. Well, you are so open, your act is entirely based on who you are as a person and you're so vulnerable. How have you found the transition in real life, your vulnerability? Has it been good to you, or has it made you go through too much you shouldn't have?
A lot of time, I think my vulnerability and openness has maybe hurt me a little bit. I think it's allowed people to take advantage of me a bunch. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that I'm getting paid for it now, It feels like it's a little more worth it. But I think also the sort of the me on stage and me in everyday life, I've kind of compartmentalized a little bit. I'm in a normal everyday sense, I'm pretty introverted and shy. I don't really like attention or talking to people. Mm-hmm. And so I think of that, of the everyday normal me is I'm just Neil. And the guy on stage in the videos, that's Neil Hilborn. And Neil Hilborn's the sort of extroverted, outgoing part of my personality, who likes attention and likes when people are looking at him. So I've been rambling and I totally forgot the point of your question, but
I think Neil Hilborn on stage is taking advantage of the vulnerable Neil at home.
Yes.
He's
you're totally right.
exposing you.
Yeah, well, but I think also that sort of the Neil Hilborn's persona is the way in which I'm most able to express my normal everyday vulnerability. When in most of my life, I don't talk about my feelings or what I really care about or want, except to literally the 2 or 3 people in my life that I like and trust the most. Most of the time, it doesn't seem like it's worth the energy for me to talk about my feelings or say when I'm mad or upset or whatever. I have a pretty closely guarded internal life, and so sort of me on stage is the only time that I'm able to really come out and say this is what I'm really feeling to anyone, and not worry about what those consequences are going to be.
Yeah. Well, you do talk about how lucky you are that your parents could afford to get you help when not everyone has been so lucky that you've known. But what do you think was it that made you actually get the strength to get out there and share who you are publicly?
I think it was the people around me. I started doing poetry, and I really came up in the spoken word scene in Minneapolis and St. Paul, where I still live. I grew up in Houston, Texas, but I live in Minnesota now. Mm-hmm. And when I was coming up, there were a lot of people at shows who I saw getting on stage and being so intensely vulnerable and open about really big and scary topics. And so I was like, man, if all these people can get out there and talk about stuff that's way bigger and scarier than anything that I've gone through, what's stopping me? So I was really inspired by all the people I came up with and their bravery. It just made it seem not only like something I could do, but like something that would be easy for me to do and something that people would really accept me for.
Yeah. And do you think about the fact that you are literally saving lives with your words?
You know, it's weird. I try not to. That feels like a huge responsibility to me. And the second I think, okay, I got to write this poem because it's gonna save a life, like that, then I'm gonna get paralyzed by inaction. I won't be able to like write anything because what if I say something wrong? You know, so I kind of put all that stuff. Again, I kind of put it on Neil Hilborn because like he's the guy who can handle it and who can like deal with, you know, and not deal with, but maybe feel proud of and accepting of like if somebody comes up to me after a show and they say like your work really saved my life, like it's so important to me. I can sort of take that extroverted not attention loving, but I can take that part of myself and really accept that and hear that story and kind of take it into myself rather than just being terrified of it, you know?
Yeah. I think if you actually started to try and write for other people, it would destroy it because your whole thing and the way you help people is by just what's inside of you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think that I try to not put many like responsibilities on myself as a writer. I try to not think like I have an obligation to write poems about certain issues or to write poems that reach a certain number of people or whatever. Because I think the second I do that, I'm writing for something extrinsic, for something outside of me. And the one obligation that I do put on myself is I think I have a duty to continue writing poems that are honest and are a genuine reflection of my internal state, whatever that is. And if people like that, that's great. And if they don't, well, you know what, that's fine, but I'm going to keep doing it. So
yeah. And you do at the moment have a book out called Our Numbered Days. What number book is this for you?
That's my first full-length book.
All right.
It's my third book. So I published a couple of chapbooks, which is like shorter length books before that one came out. And they're both out of print, which is fine because they're old and I hate them. But that's not totally true. I think I like a couple things in them. But, you know, I think I'm always happy when I don't like my old work because that means I'm still progressing and learning new things as an artist. Anyway, Our Numbered Days, it's my first full length, and my second one is coming out this spring.
Plus, maybe it means that some of those feelings, like you've dealt with them now and moved on, and you don't want to keep looking at them.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that, writing is very therapeutic for me, so it's nice to look at an old poem that maybe I wrote when I was going through something really intense and think, oh, hey, I dealt with this. This is so far in the past. I'm not scared anymore. You know, see it. It's nice. It shows that I'm still maturing and learning as a person.
Awesome. And you are actually bringing your live show to Australia. Is this your first visit to Australia?
Yeah, I've never been. I've always wanted to go ever since I was a little kid, and I'm really excited that when my schedule works out where I'm doing some shows and then I have some time off. So I'm just going to hang out in Australia. I have no clue what I'm going to do yet. I don't plan things well, but I've got at least a week where I'm just going to spend some time, and I'm just so excited.
All right, is that at the start or the end?
At the end. I get in, I think, a couple days before my first show, and then it's like 4 shows in 4 days, and then I have a week, maybe I think 8 or 9 days, something like that, at the end. So I'll have gotten over jet lag finally. And I'll have some time to, just explore. I really don't know what I'm going to do yet, and I'm so excited to find out. Yeah.
Well, you will be in Melbourne for your time off, and there's been a second show added in Melbourne too, so it's going to be a very good place for you to hang out because you're going to have lots of friends by the end of 2 shows.
Cool, great.
Your first show.
I've heard Melbourne's awesome. I'm really excited about. I don't know. I really don't know much about Australia, so I'm really stoked to just hang out. And I think that's my favorite thing about travel is every time I go someplace and I've never been, I always have all these ideas of what a place is going to really be like. And it's so exciting to find out. These are the particular quirks of the people in whatever place. So yeah, I just want to hang out and meet some people and really, really explore Australia, you know? Yeah,
well, Melbourne is the arts capital of Australia, so there's a lot of artistic stuff to do.
Cool, man. I'm so stoked. I can't wait.
So it's the 7th of December you start in Brisbane, actually, at the zoo. And then the 8th here at the...
Oh, is that how it works? Cool, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The 8th here at the Bald-Faced Stag in Sydney. And then the 9th and 10th, you are at Howler in Melbourne. And, like, just looking at your videos and that, it's an amazing show that you put on. I mean, you're not just presenting and being yourself. You are very entertaining. You make people laugh. You make people relate to what you're talking about. And the way you talk about suicide and not being an option, is that something you really feel now, or is that something you're still trying to convince yourself of?
It really is the way I feel. I think for a long time I was saying that on stage because I was trying to convince myself. But yeah, I really, it's funny. I think I still have suicidal ideation. Like, I think about it pretty much every day, but it doesn't ever seem like a choice I'm actually going to make. At this point it just seems like, oh, hey, there's that thought again. Cool, whatever, it exists. And I just let it be in my head. And I let myself have those feelings, and I try not to attach to them. I think it's too big. And really, I hadn't gotten to that point until the last, year or two in my life. Most of my life, at least since I was 11 years old, I'd always been sort of afraid I was going to kill myself. And I think I just recently, I don't think I'm going to for the first time ever. I think it's just a feeling I have. It's just a part of me, but I'm not going to do it.
Still lots of adventures for you to have in life.
Yeah, totally, man.
Coming to Australia.
I'm just getting to the point now. Yeah, exactly, dude. I gotta go to Australia. I gotta hug a wombat. I can't wait. I'm gonna hug so many wombats. I got so many places to go, man. I'm not done yet.
You are different because most people want to hug a koala.
Koalas are cool and all, but I've loved wombats ever since I was a little kid. And also there's one of my favorite bands. They're called the Mountain Goats. Their singer, John Darnielle, he had this picture for the longest time. It was his Twitter profile picture of him holding this gigantic wombat. Mm-hmm. And I want to grow up to be John Darnielle. So basically, it's been a life goal of mine to hug a wombat, and I'm going to do it.
Awesome. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. There's plenty of places for you to do that in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne. I'm sure you'll get to probably do it in Melbourne. No, you'll probably do it as soon as you arrive in Brisbane. It'll be one of the first things they do is take you to a wildlife park in Brisbane.
Yeah, actually, so I sort of posted jokingly when I announced the tour on my Facebook. I said I'm going to hug a wombat, and then somebody immediately emailed me and said, hey, I work at a wildlife park near Brisbane. I'm a huge fan. We'd like to come hang out with our wombats. So no, it's happening. I'm going to do it. I've already got plans. It's going down. So yeah, we're doing it.
Awesome. Is there something you would like to say to your Australian fans to get them to come out and check out your shows or the book, Outnumbered Days?
Sure. If you come to the show, I'm sorry in advance about how sweaty I'm going to be. I sweat so much and it will be so hot there.
I think we'll forgive you for that.
It should be more profound, but yeah.
People are more worried if you spit a lot.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll give the dates out once more. You'll be in Australia the 7th of December in Brisbane, the 8th in Sydney, the 9th and 10th in Melbourne, and tickets for that are from Destroy All Lines. And they can find out more about you by going to facebook.com/Neil Hilborn, and definitely go and check out Neil on YouTube. And you've got a website, neilhilborn.tumblr.com. Thank you so much. Your poetry, and that is amazing. I imagine your live shows are going to be an amazing experience, and I hope you have a really wonderful time in Australia and Melbourne.
Yeah, man, I really can't wait. I'm so excited, honestly. It's becoming real to me right now that I'm going, and I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to catching up with you while you're here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.